Well. Hello, people, and welcome to 2 p.m. Sales Espresso Shot series today. Sorry again about last week's technical difficulties, but you know what? We're back and we're here with controlling the transaction. Trying a little bit of a different format today. You can see the slides look a little different. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I took my content and said, "Hey, AI, why don't you try and doctor this up a little bit, huh?" And it did okay. It did okay. But we're going to go ahead and start hammering this in because, as you know, 15 minutes or less. All right. So controlling the transaction is a big problem in the industry. Okay. And before we dive into that, though, yep, that's me. There I am. I am live and on site in beautiful Huntsville, Alabama, finishing up a 2 day, 4 day training with a client here. And it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, looking forward to doing this too. So if I am not connected with you, please scan the QR code. As always, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, text me, email me, smoke signal me. I don't care. So, whatever it is, want to hear back from you guys. Looking forward to hearing from you. All right. So, we're going to do four things today when it comes to controlling the transaction. All right. And you're going to see I said four is take the wheel because we are going to be focused on driving the bus, driving the car, because that is us. We are the driver, but that's not all we are. Okay. So we're going to talk about micro commitments. We're going to talk a little bit about assertive language. Some of y'all who may have been on some of my other trainings know that that's a big thing for me, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to touch on the application, and finally, we're going to look at a loan roadmap. Okay. Now, these are only four parts in a fairly robust strategy for controlling the transaction, but these four things super important. And if we can improve or start implementing some of these immediately, then you will be shocked at how much smoother your transaction goes and how much more in control of it you feel. Because the more you are in control, the more confident your borrower is. All right. Guys, the borrower is looking for a leader. You are the figurehead of this entire transaction. I know realtors, if I've got you on the call, I'm sorry. I know that they like to say that they are the figurehead. They're not. We are as LOs, okay? The borrower doesn't live in the process, though, guys. We do, right? And so when we don't lead it, no one does. It just kind of floats on down the line, and it could be successful. It could not. It's leaving it up to chance. If we're intentional and we control things, then we are setting ourselves up for success. Okay. Keep in mind the borrower was juggling a lot of stuff: work, family, life, making a big purchase. They got financial stress and fear. Especially today, we got information overload. I mean, they're having to sort through what is working, what isn't working, and that kind of thing. So your job is to make that as clear as possible. Make each next step obvious. Okay. So keep in mind, guys, when I say control the transaction, I do not mean pressure. I do not mean high pressure sales. That is not what I'm saying. Okay. So an example of the language here. Let's look at this. Hey, I need you to do this today. All right. That is too assertive. That is commanding. It centers on what you need, feels like a push, and will naturally inside people create some resistance, as opposed to the alternative, something like, hey, here are the next two steps in your loan process. That's all that we got to focus on right now. Let's do this, and we can worry ourselves with what comes after when that time comes. Okay. So centers on the outcome, shrinks it down into a manageable process. They can understand and see what the next step is, and it starts to create momentum, starts to make that snowball go down the hill. Okay. All right, so lever number one. I thought about putting gear shift in there. That was too long, weird sounding. So lever number one, micro commitments. Now, some of y'all might be familiar with this, but if you're not, it is essentially a series of yeses or a series of agreements along the sales process, or in this case, the loan process, to keep things moving forward. A loan, big, huge yes. But borrowers stall in front of big ones. So it's our responsibility to break it down in manageable chunks. Each completed step makes the next one feel easy. So small yeses build a big momentum. And that word yeses, by the way, that was kind of funny, doesn't it? And I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I didn't really think about how that was spelled until now. Anyway, all right. So, little things like, hey, I sent you a list of what all's needed. Will you confirm that you received my email? Right. Hey, I understand that you've got questions about this and I want to answer all of them. Let's grab 15 minutes Thursday and sit down so I can answer these questions specifically. Say that they need to upload. So, hey, will you upload XYZ document tonight? Yes. Okay, great. And another good example. Hey, let's complete the full application now. I can only take you so far with the information I've got. I understand that you want to go in depth. Let's complete the full app, right? These little examples here, these little yeses get the commitments. They get the commitment from the borrower to take the next step. We cannot assume that is a foregone conclusion, right? We cannot assume that. So, instead of something like send me your documents whenever you get a chance, hey, upload your two most recent pay stubs by 3 p.m. today, because if you get it by 3, I can still get it in underwriting to hopefully get that approval by tomorrow. Okay. Specific time, specific ask, specific reason. If it's open-ended, if it's wishy-washy, it's easy to postpone, neglect, undermine the importance of all those things. All right. Number two, that leads right into this assertive language. That's going to set the tone. Now, like I said a second ago, those of y'all who have been on my trains before know that I am a big believer that language matters. Small thing makes a big difference. But assertive language in this case helps move people forward because they are going to they being the borrowers, are going to pick up on your energy. All right. If you aren't certain and you're not clear and you're not going in a specific direction, how can we expect them to understand it? All right. Wishy-washy words, hesitance, all that kind of thing, it's all contagious. It's going to make them do the same thing. So assertive, confident language instead tells them someone is in control. So assertive, hey, here's what we got to do next. And then you name the next step. Calm, say steady tone signals this process is routine. I've done this 100 times. This is what you're going to expect. This is how it's going to work. Okay. It's specific. Each next action, time, and reason every single time. If anybody on this call has by chance been to any of my prospecting classes, you know that this is the exact same thing. All right. Every time you get a micro commitment, then you have got to set the next steps. All right. Okay. So again, say it like a leader. Words that follow. Hey, whenever you get a chance, if you could maybe send that. Hey, sorry to bother you again. No. Let's get this done by 3 p.m. today. Here's exactly what we need. Hey, quick update. Here's our next step because we just got your appraisal and we just got your title working, whatever the case. Here's our next step. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. Number 3, control starts at the application. Now, obviously, taking a good, complete, clean app, probably one of, if not the most important skill that you can develop as a loan officer, right? But a complete application, guys, that's your first act of control. The questions that you ask to complete that application, the conversations you have, that is going to decide how the next, 30 to 45 days go during that loan process, okay? And the harder, the deeper, the more impactful the question, the earlier you should ask it because you got to uncover a bunch of stuff, right? It's not just the nuts and bolts in the application. We got to uncover their why because that's what we're going to use to help move them towards the end goal. Okay. So, some just random examples here. Any credit, income, or job changes coming up. That one actually, I prefer open-ended questions. That one's a yes or a no. So you may want to say something like, what kind of changes do you have coming up regarding your credit, income, job, anything like that? None? Okay, that's great. It gives them a chance to kind of think about, hey, where are the funds to close coming from? Okay. What is the real timeline and target date? Say, hey, I know that we've talked about getting you pre-approved, but what's your real timeline for buying a home? And why do you have that particular date in mind? What's going on with that, right? If you're meeting with one person, say, hey, who else weighs in on this decision? Because I can't tell you enough from my experience. I see it all the time with LOs. You have one conversation with one spouse, different conversation you end up having because they either A, don't translate it well, playing a little game of telephone, or B, the other person really is the decision maker and their opinion matters. So again, these are all important questions. I mean, we can make a list of 1,000 of these, right? Okay. 4, loan roadmap. Now, I have brought this up in a couple of trainings actually recently, and this is a really, really good tool. So visual learners are going to better understand an ambiguous kind of abstract concept like a mortgage if we can put it on paper. And whatever way you want to do it, whether it's like an actual roadmap all decorated and colored in, or it's simply something like you see here, which by the way, I'm sorry about the spacing. I'm not really sure what happened with my floating end letters there. Thanks, AI. The the roadmap is going to help them see what's next and where they are. Now, taking it a step further, you can actually say, hey, you know what? I need A, B, and C if you want to go for number two to number three. And we can't do that until I have it. You could even do something where you say, hey, look, every day that gets delayed with you not bringing me what I need, or hey, or bring in the correct paste of the documents, whatever the case is, right, has a potential to move back your closing date. And if you can visually represent that, it's a very powerful tool to help take control of the transaction and have the borrower do what we know that they need to do. Okay. So if you put it all together, you got the micro commitments, create motion, one small yes at a time. All right. Your assertive language, that's a confident, calm, certain tone. All right. The application is a given. It establishes control from the very first interaction. And then the roadmap, guys. Roadmap's a great tool to make progress visible at every single step. Altogether, you are at the wheel of this bus. You are driving the bus, but you are also, the GPS and everything else that goes with it. So keep in mind, hey, we do these four things, all work in concert. So it's up to you to lead them all the way home. Leader, GPS, driver. Okay, you got to play all three roles because we are the face of the transaction. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I got it done in 12 minutes. Look at that. Look at that. I've been running a minute over recently. So, hey, I did this one in 12. Hey, guys, as always, please scan the QR code. Let me know your thoughts on everything with topic suggestions, feedback on this, questions, comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you guys next week. Talk then.